Good evening, you're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The Royal Oman Police participates in the Command Centre's exercise Joint Effort 10. The Ministry of Commerce and Industry announces extending the period of renewal and cancellation of expired commercial records until the end of June 2018. The number of passengers through Muscat International and Salalah airports increased by 12%. And the Sultanate participates in the 38th version of Paris International Book Fair. Those are the headlines, and now for the news in detail. The roles of Royal Oman Police and Command Centre's exercise Joint Effort 10 represented in all stages of its operations. The participation aimed to achieve a number of training goals put up in coordination with the command of the Royal Oman Police, seeking to develop the system of security work in addition to measure the level of preparedness of the participating forces in terms of planning and implementation. The National Committee for Civil Defence also took part in the exercise, according to task and specialty specified in the Law of Civil Defence, as it continues to provide medical and other necessary services through various stages. The Ministry of Commerce and Industry announced expanding the period of renewal and cancellation of expired commercial records for individual institutions and companies until the end of June 2018. The Ministry said that all the investors should benefit from services provided by the e-portal Invest Easy, adding that individual institutions which are not renewed will be cancelled until the mentioned period. The number of passengers through Muscat International and Salalah airports recorded an increase by the end of January 2018 by 12%. The passengers through the two airports reached 2.5 million during last January. The National Centre for Statistics and Information pointed out that the number of flights through Muscat International Airport reached 9,800. Meanwhile, the flights of Salalah Airport were around 900. An increase is expected in the number of passengers of Muscat International Airport in the upcoming period, with the start of activation of the new passengers building next Tuesday. The Sultanate participated in the 38th version of Paris International Book Fair. The Sultanate's participation in the book fair aims at building bridges of communication and opening horizons of cooperation with a number of institutions relating to publishing and translation in Europe. The Sultanate's pavilion in the fair included a section for documentaries about the history and culture of Oman, as well as a number of books on the various fields. It is worth mentioning that Paris International Book Fair is considered one of the most important European exhibitions, as it has been witnessing a growth in publishing and translation movement, besides the important deals related to the book. The Sultanate, represented in Oman Post Company, took part in the Asian Conference on E-Business Post Services and Logistics 2018, which is held in Singapore. The participation came within the framework to promote for the Sultanate, in addition to meeting global specialists to exchange expertise and knowledge. It also aimed to introduce the Sultanate as a portal to Gulf Cooperation Council countries' markets in general, as well as logistic and post in particular. Still to come in our news bulletin. The photography exhibition in the Governorate of Dahira highlights Omani environment with its richness and variety. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Thousands of people continued to stream out of the rebel-held Damascus suburb of Eastern Ghouta today for a third straight day. Media showed a column of displaced residents, some carrying children and supporting the injured and the elderly as they carried their meager belongings along dusty roads. Russia's military said today more than 11,000 people had left eastern Ghouta in the previous few hours as government forces stepped up their offensive on the rebel enclave. It said some 3,000 people had been leaving every hour through a government-run humanitarian corridor, monitored by the Russian military. Syrian government forces stepped up their offensive in the rebel-held eastern suburbs of the capital Damascus, capturing a major town and closing in on another. The weeks-long violence has left more than 1,300 civilians dead, 5,000 wounded, and forced thousands to flee to government-controlled areas. An Afghanistan Interior Ministry official said today that a suicide car bomber targeted a British security company in the capital Kabul. It has killed 2 civilians and wounded 3 others. The attacker targeted a foreign convoy but was not successful. The attack took place as the convoy passed by the car bomber. A Taliban spokesman claimed responsibility for the attack in a text message, saying the target was a foreign automobile and the attack was successful. Xi Jinping was reappointed today as China's president, with no limit on the number of terms that he can serve. The National People's Congress, China's rubber-stamped legislature, also appointed close ally Wang Qishan to the formerly ceremonial post of vice president. At the Great Hall of the People, Xi, Wang and other officials took turns stepping to the lectern to place their left hand on the Constitution and raise their right fists as they delivered an oath swearing loyalty to the Constitution and the motherland and the people. 64-year-old Xi is considered the most powerful Chinese leader since Mao Zedong, and last Sunday was given the right to continue in office indefinitely after the legislature scrapped term limits for the president and the vice president. Xi took office as president in 2013 and hasn't said how many additional 5-year terms he intends to serve. More than 26,000 people are without power and water after tropical cyclone Marcus swept over the northern Australian city of Darwin. Strong winds in excess of 130 kilometres per hour brought down trees and power lines. Residents were urged to stay indoors and avoid using the roads until debris is cleared up. The Category 2 cyclone has now been downgraded to Category 1 and conditions in Darwin have eased. Cyclone Marcus is now tracking southwest along the Northern Territory coast towards Western Australia. Now for more local news, various entertainment and traditional activities included in the first version of Matra Heritage and Tourism Festival begin being organised at Riam Park in the Wilaya of Matra. The event showcases handicraft products, Omani honey products, photography exhibition and drawing on boats activity. Among the activities are also health lectures and some children events. The festival will continue for 2 weeks. The Extreme Sailing Series with Team Oman Air launched their 2018 race at Muscat Al Mouj Gulf. More details in the following report by Abdullah bin Ahmed Al Rabai.
The Extreme Sailing Series race of 7 elite teams representing 7 nations have launched their 2018 competition in Muscat Al Mouj Race Village. Breeze and tension increased in Muscat on day 3 of the Extreme Sailing Series, with the Oman Air team started the 3rd day yesterday a flourish, winning the first race to keep the pressure on the overall Muscat event leaders, Alingri.
It was day 3 of the Extreme Sailing Series here in Muscat, Act 1, and we saw the best breeze that we've seen over the whole event. Gave the boats the opportunity to really perform and show the teams exactly what they were able to do. Alinghi went into the lead on the leaderboard after day 1, and they managed to remain in that top spot. So the Swiss team, 3 times champions of the Extreme Sailing Series, have started convincingly and they sit at the top of the table. SAP Extreme Sailing team, they are the defending champions. They squeeze up into 2nd place, but only within a couple of points of Oman Air.
Yeah, this race should be conducted more often, so that we, the sailing lovers, we can come and see this race quite often.
Fantastic, absolutely loved it. Such a beautiful day for it. Great wind, amazing speeds. Never seen anything like it. I can't say I know much about the sailing and the racing, but Glad I'm not on board one of those boats. It looks pretty hairy.
To the delight of hundreds of spectators lining the shore at Al Mouj, Muscat.
Racing is exciting. I am enjoy watching.
It's very entertaining and I'm very happy to be here watching it with all my family.
I come to see the race. The race is very, very good.
Overall, Alingi lead the event with 194 points. SAP are second on 184 with Oman Air Heart on their heels with 180 points. Action in the Extreme Sailing Series continues off Al Mouj today up until this evening, where the result will be highlighted in our report tomorrow. Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rubi'i, Sultanate of Oman Television, Al Mouj Race Village, Muscat.
The Omani environment, with its richness and variety, was present at the photography exhibition in the Governorate of Dahira. It showcased the works of some professional photographers in the Governorate. They belong to Ibri Photography Club of Ibri Club. The photos depicted the life in Omani environment and its beauty. Weekend souk for the spectators of the extreme sailing race held at Al Mouj Race Village. More details in the following report by Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rabai.
The weekend souk, or market set up as part of Muscat extreme sailing race at Al Mouj Gulf, has attracted more than 45 stall market at the village, offering fresh local produce together with the Omani handcrafts, along with children various activities laid out all over to entertain them. The setup of which is seen as an important platform for small business entrepreneurs and local entertainments showcasing their products and talents, where they are selling variety of products through skillful bakers and chefs who have been serving homemade food, encouraging healthy eating. The gathering includes artists, artisans, crafters, designers, among others.
We are proud that we've got this weekend souk where we can market our goods and show what us Omanis can do.
Presenting these services, Al Mouj Muscat therefore is continuing to fulfill its mission of delivering Oman lifestyle and leisure destination to all. Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rubi'i, Sultanate of Oman Television, Al Mouj Gulf Weekend Market, Muscat.
Now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Clear skies will prevail over the Sultanate with chances of low cloud and fog late at night and early morning over the governorates of Dakhliya, Sharqiya and Wusta. Winds will be south to southeasterly light to moderate, and seas will be moderate with a maximum wave height of 1.25 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Royal Oman Police participates in the Command Centre's exercise Joint Effort 10. The Ministry of Commerce and Industry announces extending the period of renewal and cancellation of expired commercial records until the end of June 2018. The number of passengers through Muscat International and Salalah airports increased by 12%. And the Sultanate participates in the 38th version of Paris International Book Fair. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsrooms and the studio, it's good night.